and welcome to day 19 of the Take Back Your Power course. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see the other daily exercises, and if you look at my playlist, there is a playlist called Take Back Your Power, which will have every single exercise in there from day 1 leading up to today, day 19, and any future exercises I post. And for those who are returning, hello, hope you're all keeping well. Okay, so today, day 19, the daily exercise is combating catastrophic thinking. So this should be quite interesting. So we're going to be looking at catastrophic thinking. This is when it's almost like you expect the worst. It's like you feel something small happens, something tiny happens, and in your mind it's like it's the end of the world. For example, I'm going to show you an example. It could be like the story that we're going to be looking through in a minute is, imagine you see someone walking across the street or something. You see one of your friends. And you see your friend over there and you're like, oh, hi, how are you? How are you to your friend? And your friend just completely blanks you. And the friend doesn't look over at you, or they may glance at you and just look away and just carry on walking. And any person would think, okay, maybe they got headphones in, maybe they're distracted, maybe they're in a rush. It could be anything. Maybe they didn't hear me or didn't see me. But when you do catastrophic thinking, what you do then is this person who thinks catastrophic thinking would think, oh my God, this person hates me. Why is this person ignoring me? They're so rude. Have I done something wrong? Am I the issue? And it just goes on in your head, and it starts eating at you, and you start thinking the worst and the worst and the worst and the worst, and it just builds up, and you get all this anger, and then you end up in your head overthinking, over-analyzing, over-worrying, to the point where you can't sleep. You can't sleep at night. It's like, why did she or he do that to me? What have I done wrong? I've done nothing wrong. Why did they ignore me? Have I done something wrong? I just remember, and you start overthinking, overplaying, and the more you overthink, the more you overplay, the worse it gets. And the more it builds and builds and builds, your anxiety builds, you start feeling panicky, you start getting angry, you get resentful, and yeah, it just all blows up. So that's catastrophic thinking. And that's just a little example. It can come in many different forms, catastrophic thinking. So yeah, that is what we're tackling. So in your self-healing journal, these are some questions that you can put down. So we have here the trigger situation. For example, as I was saying, the trigger situation is you see your friend across the road, you wave at them, and they don't respond, they completely blank you. So that would be like your trigger. So in your journal, you can write, okay, number 1, triggers or situation. What triggered you? In fact, I'm going to show you down here. Or should I do that? I'll hold it up. So you can see it's a number 1, triggers, situation. Then you can write number 2, the thought. Number 3, body sensations. Number 4, emotions. Number 5, why do you feel this way? Number 6, alternative perspective. Number 7, has your perception changed after alternative perception? Number 8, how do you feel now? Don't worry about what these are going to be. We'll talk about these questions in a minute. Just write these down. Number 9, how can you resolve or restore peace to the situation? Number 10, what was the end result? And number 11, how do you feel now? Number 12, why do you think you have catastrophic thoughts? And number 13, how are you going to overcome and tackle these thoughts? So if you just write those down, I'll say it again. Number 1, triggers situation. triggers / situation. Number 2, the thought. Number 3, body sensations. Number 4, emotions. Number 5, why do you feel this way? Excuse me. Number 6, alternative perception. Number 7, has your perception changed after alternative perception? Number 7. Number 8, how do you feel now? Number 9, how can you restore peace or resolve the situation? Number 10, what was the end result? Number 11, how do you feel now? And number 12, why do you think you have catastrophic thoughts? And number 13, how are you going to overcome or tackle these thoughts? So these are all things you can write down. Don't worry if I've said it way too fast, because I know I probably said, you probably think I haven't even finished writing the first line. Don't worry, because we'll go through this step by step, and you can always pause the video. So we're going to look at that example of the friend who is walking on the other side of the street. Imagine your friend's walking on that side of the street. You're walking this way. You look over and you see your friend and you wave. Hi. You say the friend's name's Mandy. Hi, Mandy. And Mandy just like, nope, and just carries on walking. And you're left there like, ah. So for situation number 1, situation or trigger. What triggered your catastrophic thinking, your catastrophic thought, or what was the situation? What triggered it? So for number 1, you would say, for example, here, Mandy completely blanked me on the street today. I waved over at her and I called out her name and she just blanked me. So that would be number 1, because we see that pretend this is a friend. So number 2, the thought. So number 2 is the thought. What was the thought that came to you? What was the catastrophic thought, the thinking, the process that you went through at that time, once you were triggered from that situation, from Mandy not waving at you? What was your thought? Could say, she's angry at me. I've done something wrong. I'm not good enough. She doesn't want to be my friend anymore. She's so rude. I'm going to blank her now. So that's the thought. That's the thought that's coming. She's angry at me. I've done something wrong. It's all my fault. That's those are those catastrophic thoughts. Okay, then we look at number 3, body sensations. So what body sensations do you think this person or you would have during this situation? So you could say, right, my body sensations, well, I had tense muscles. My muscles felt tense. I had sweaty hands. I was breathless, clenched fists and jaw, grinding teeth, hot flush, racing heart, tightness in my stomach, sweaty hands, panic. So this is what this person could have, you could have experienced. A person who's having this catastrophic thinking, that's what they could have been experiencing at that time. So now we're going to look at emotions. What emotions? That's number 4. Number 4, emotions. What were the emotions that you felt during this time? Or that this person who's having the catastrophic thinking would have felt? So you could say, right, number 4, I'm going to put down anger. I felt angry. I felt hurt. I felt disappointed. Confusion. Self-critical. Critical of Mandy. Tension, worry, anxiety, frustrated, annoyed. So this could be all the emotions. So you write this all down. For you, it'll be whatever your situation is. You write it down. Write down those feelings and be as completely honest as possible. Number 5, why do you feel this way? So number 5, why do you feel this way? So this person could say, well, I feel this way because she blanked me. I'm supposed to be her friend. She made me feel like I was in the wrong. I'm confused as to what I've done to upset her. So that could be number 5, which is why you feel this way. You feel this way because your friend blanked you. You feel like you've done something wrong. She made you feel horrible. She's supposed to be your friend. Why would she just completely blank you? So this is how this person with the catastrophic thinking would be thinking. Then you look at number 6, alternative perception. So this is where you've got to look at whatever the situation is. So for you, it would be if there's anything that's really upset you, you're looking back at it, you're looking at like, why am I feeling this way? What's causing these feelings? Why do I feel the way I do about what happened? How can I look at it from a different perspective? Could there be another reason why Mandy blanked me, basically? Instead of her just blanking me because she doesn't want to be my friend anymore. Could there be another explanation? So you're trying to see things from a new perspective, from another perception. So you could say, well, perhaps she has a lot on her mind, and so she was distracted. You know, that happens to any one of us. Sometimes we're so distracted, we just don't even can walk past a burning bush and you don't even see the burning bush. So maybe she just has a lot on her mind. She may have had headphones in, so she possibly just couldn't hear me. I don't know. She's got long hair. I couldn't see whether she had her headphones in or not. She could be in a hurry to get somewhere. Maybe she's running late. She could have an appointment or something. She may have not intentionally blanked me. I don't think she would have intentionally blanked me. She has no reason to blank me. What's the logical reason for her to do that? The last time I saw her, we were on good terms. Everything was good. We were laughing. Everything was fine. So, yeah. I have actually been under a lot of stress lately. So this could have caused me to overthink and overreact. Yeah, I have been quite anxious lately. Or if you're a female, you could say, well, I have got my lady time at the moment. That makes me very emotional. So I could have overreacted. So this is looking at an alternative perception, an alternative perspective of things. Trying to look not just at like, she blanked me, she doesn't like me, I've done something wrong, she's being rude. It's trying to see it from a different perspective. It's taking yourself out, taking a step back, and almost looking at the situation from an outsider's perspective, from an outside view, detaching yourself from those angry emotions and thoughts, almost pulling yourself away from that and saying, right, I've got all these angry thoughts, I've got all these angry emotions, I'm putting that there right now, I'm detaching myself, and I'm going to look at this from an outside perspective. What could be other possibilities as to why Mandy blanked me? And that's the number 6, alternative perception, trying to see things from a different viewpoint. Okay, so number 7. So that's the page. Number 7 is, has your perception changed after doing the alternative perception? So do you now see things differently? How has things changed? So you can say, yes, my perception of things has changed. It has. I'm not feeling as stressed about it right now. I'm not so anxious about it. And I don't feel as upset as I did before. I realize that I may have jumped to conclusions before actually assessing the situation. I let my emotions run riot before really taking time to think things through. Okay, so then you look at number 8. How do you feel now? How do you feel now? So number 8, yeah, I'm feeling calmer. I'm feeling calmer, and I feel less stressed about it all. I feel relief, actually. I feel quite relieved. I feel like I have a clearer head now. Yeah. So you could say it like that. You could just write this down. Then you look at number 9. How can you restore peace or resolve the situation? How can you do this? Well, I could contact Mandy tonight. I could give her a ring. Once she's back home from work, I know she'll be settled. She won't have a lot on her mind. She'll be like calmer. And I could just talk with her about it. I could bring it up to say, oh, I saw you on the street today. I waved and you didn't say anything. You must have had a lot on your mind. And yeah, and see what she says and just see if she's okay. I'll keep things peaceful and amicable. I'll just be, just make a nice general chat. Just put my mind at ease so I know all's okay. So that's what you could do for number 9. Number 10, what was the end result? So once you've done whatever it is you're going to do to resolve the issue, then you can say, well, what was the end result? You can record it down in your journal. So for this case, it could be, well, I called Mandy and she was very apologetic. She said that she did actually have her headphones on, and so she did not hear me whatsoever. And she was also miles away because she has a lot going on in her life at the moment, a lot going on in her personal life, so her thoughts were just miles away. Yes, so it's all good between us, and we actually plan on meeting up for coffee tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. So you do it like that. So there you're finding out like the end result after you took that time out to see things from a different perspective. And you'll realize that things aren't as bad as you may have thought they were. Okay, so number 12. Why do you think you have catastrophic thinking or catastrophic thoughts? So, what is the end result? I forgot to do number 11, so. Number 11, how do you feel now? How do you feel now that, so number 10 was the end result. What was the end result? And then number 11 is, how do you feel now? How do you feel now once everything's done and dusted? And you know everything's okay. So you say, well, I feel really glad. I feel really glad that it's all okay between us. I feel a bit silly for overthinking and getting all upset, but it's a lesson. It's a lesson learned. Next time, I'll remember to just take a step back and see things from an outside perspective. I do feel relief. I feel relief. I'm not feeling angry anymore. And I'm glad I spoke up. I'm glad I spoke up and that all is good. I realized that I was overthinking things. I was expecting the worst. I reacted before taking the time to really process the situation. I let my emotions, my thoughts just take over. So in future, I'm going to do things differently. And then you move on to number 12, which is, why do you think you have catastrophic thinking or thoughts? So for this case, they could say, well, I have been under a huge amount of stress and pressure recently. This has caused me to struggle with my confidence, and everything irritates me at the moment. I've been a lot more grumpy, a lot more stressed than usual. So this has really triggered my catastrophic thoughts because my anxiety is super high because of my stress levels at this time. So you could find a reason. For you, it could be any other reason why you think you have these thoughts. For some people, it could be childhood trauma. It could be things that have happened in their life. It could be disappointments. Anything could have triggered it. It could be high emotions. It could be lady time if you're a woman, you're in your period. It could be stress. It could be anything. So it's trying to find the cause. Why do you think you have this catastrophic thinking or thoughts? What's the trigger? Because once you know what a trigger is, you can work on healing that trigger and resolving it. And then the final question is, how are you going to overcome and tackle these thoughts? How are you going to overcome them? What can you do to overcome them? So in this case, you could say, well, I'm going to take a step back before getting all angry. As soon as I feel I'm getting triggered, as soon as I feel I'm triggered and I'm getting those catastrophic thinking, the catastrophic thoughts, I'm going to take a step back. Take a deep breath and try to see things from an outside perspective. I'm going to detach myself from those emotions and detach myself from those thoughts. So as soon as you feel that trigger, it's like, oh, I'm getting triggered. Oh, I'm getting angry. I'm feeling those emotions. It's like, wait, stop. I can notice I'm getting triggered. Right. There, put those emotions there. Put those thoughts there. Take a step back. Take a deep breath. Maybe count to 10 if you want to. And then try and see things from a different perspective. What could the other possibilities be? So this is something I could try and do. I could look at better managing the stress I have. I am under a lot of stress at the moment, so maybe I need to look into stress management, find alternative ways of managing that stress so it's not affecting my relationships, my friendships, situations in my life, not affecting my mood and my thoughts. I could seek professional help to manage this. if things trigger or upset me, then I'll talk about it instead of holding it all in, because this will just make me get more and more resentful. The more you hold stuff in, the more it builds, it builds, it builds, it builds, and the more the thoughts get more and more and more and more and more. So you feel like your head's going to explode. You can't sleep, you can't think, you're getting angry, you're getting frustrated. And so instead of getting to that point, maybe speak. Speak up. Like this person could have spoken to Mandy straight away. Say, look, Mandy, did you just blank me? Now speak. Or write it down. If you don't feel comfortable speaking, then write it down. Write it in a journal. So this is something I could do. Because just letting it out, because the more you let it build up and build up and build up, it's like a virus. It's like a virus. It just spreads and it overtakes your mind, and then it builds and builds, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse until you can't sleep, you can't eat, you're stressed, you're angry, you're upset, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. Not pretty. So these are the alternative things you could do to resolve that. I could go for a walk. I could ride my bike. I could do some meditation, do some yoga, ring a friend and a chat, do something that distracts me from these catastrophic thinking, these intruding thoughts and feelings that are consuming me. Do something to pull myself away from that, to detach from it. And perhaps from detaching from it, it'll help me to clear my head and get some clarity. So this is like an exercise that you can do. I just use someone, their friend Mandy, as an example. But you can write these 13 questions down and in your journal, and anytime you feel stressed, you start having negative thoughts, anxious thoughts, catastrophic thinking, overthinking, over-worrying, you can do this exercise. Just say, wait, I'm getting triggered. I'm having these thoughts. I'm having these feelings. Right, before I blow up and just lose it, I'm going to go back to my healing journal, my Take My Power Back journal. I'm going to look at those 13 questions. What were those questions on that Combating Catastrophic Thinking course? Oh, yes, let me do it. And you just write, what was the first one? Triggers, situation. Number one, what is my situation? What has triggered me? What's the situation? What triggered me? And you do it and you answer each question. And hopefully by the time you get to the end of it, you're going to be feeling so much better in yourself. So I hope you found this to be helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell button. I'd really appreciate it. And until tomorrow, have a fantastic night. Thanks. Bye.